Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. We're looking at these verses one line at a time, and today is part 4. And he will make your paths straight. This is the promise given at the end of the passage. If we trust in the Lord with all our hearts, if we don't lean on our own understanding, if we submit to him in all our ways, then he will make our paths straight. This is a promise, a word from God that we can expect him to fulfill. But it is important that we understand what this proverb is not promising and what it is promising. Firstly, what is not being promised. This proverb is not promising that if we trust in and submit to God, he will give us exactly what we ask for. It's not saying that if we trust in him, everything will run smoothly for us. Sorry, not sorry. It may seem disappointing, but if a Bible teacher was peddling such quick fixes, we should be wary, right? We need to balance what we read here with the rest of Scripture, with the passage itself, and with the character of God. And so what is this passage promising? Well, the ESV Study Bible puts it this way. To make straight a person's paths means to make the course of the person's life one that continually progresses towards a goal. And in Proverbs, the emphasis is on the moral quality of one's life path. Here, it's moral straightness. End quote. We need to remember that Proverbs, and especially this section, is talking about obedience to God's moral law and acknowledgement of his presence in our lives in all things. And so Proverbs is saying, if you want to be truly successful in God's eyes by making moral choices in line with his will, then entrust everything you do to him. This may not seem as enticing on face value. I'm sure many of us would prefer to read this passage and read it as obedience equals blessing. But God doesn't work that way. And what we get here is even more beautiful. If you want to be on a path to righteousness, if you want to walk the straight and narrow, as it's often put, and as Jesus alludes to, if you want to live in a godly way and make godly decisions, it is possible. Trust in him with all your heart, not in yourself. Acknowledge him in everything, and we can be confident that we are heading in the right path, walking his path and following his ways. Of course, we'll still stumble and fall. This isn't promising some sort of sinless perfectionism. This side of the new creation, we are still subject to our sinful natures. But as we learned yesterday, we have the sanctifying Spirit of God guiding and equipping us to not only obey, but to trust and acknowledge God in all things. If we want to please God through being obedient, the good news is there is a way. It is through trusting in his power and his Spirit, not in our own efforts. If you want to walk that path of righteousness, the straight and narrow, there is a way, by trusting in God and not your own good efforts. The process of trust, as we learned a few days ago, comes with small decisions to trust every day in the little things. And as we do, they will form a lifelong habit of trust and obedience. A habit that is well worth cultivating because it puts us on that straight and narrow, the path of righteousness, the path that leads to life. Proverbs 3, 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him and he will make your path straight. God bless.